Our topic is how energy is produced and managed. Learning outcome. Describe the different sources of energy. Give a brief summary of how energy is produced from different sources. Differentiate between renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. Outline the pros and cons of the different sources of energy. As an outline, how energy is produced and managed. So let's start with non-renewable sources of energy. Okay. So let me read first. Fossil fuels. Okay, first under non-renewable sources is fossil fuels. Include hydrocarbons such as, so these are all hydrocarbons, okay, such as coal, oil, and natural gas that comes from organic remains of prehistoric organism. So ito yung mga labila lang ng mga o yung mga tira o labi nga sa Tagalog ng prehistoric organisms. Coal is the world's most abundant fossil fuel. It is relatively inexpensive and is readily available. So, yung number 1 dito sa fossil fuel is yung coal. Okay? I believe yung coal, galing yan sa mga bundok. Okay? Number 1 na source of energy ng Luzon is coal. Okay? Then, the energy that comes from fossil fuel came from the sun through the process of photosynthesis when the prehistoric plants were still alive. Fossil fuels are captured sunlight. The formation of fossil fuels is due to a series of geologic processes where the remains of organic life are accumulated in the ocean bottom and are buried to eventually become part of the geosphere. So, aside from organic remains of prehistoric organism, yung fossil fuel pala yun yung accumulated na sunlight kaya may energy. Plus syempre yung remains ng organic ng prehistoric organisms. They are buried to depths having high temperature and pressure where they are converted to oil, natural gas, or coal. Next. Okay, here in the Philippines, around 69% of our electricity is derived from fossil fuel, coal, oil, natural gas, and also biomass. In the world, around 75% of our energy is generated from or by combustion of fossil fuel. That is, it's around the world, 75%. Power plants burn fossil fuels, and the heat generated during this process is used to turn water into steam, and this turns the turbines. Okay. Then, the general reaction for the combustion of hydrocarbon or fossil fuel is hydrocarbon plus oxygen will yield to carbon dioxide and also water. Okay. Combustion is an exothermic process. Methane is a common natural gas. An example of the combustion methane gas can be seen below. CH4 plus 2O2 will yield to carbon dioxide plus 2 water plus energy. As seen from the chemical reaction, burning fossil fuel produces carbon dioxide, which is harmful to our environment in huge amounts. This is one of the biggest downsides of using fossil fuels. The emission from fossil fuel power plants also cause acid rain and global scale pollution by elements such as mercury. Fossil fuel is not a sustainable energy source. because fossil fuel is a non-renewable energy, it will count years or thousands of years before we can get or create fossil fuels, because fossil fuels are the remains of prehistoric organism, and also these are accumulated sunlight. Okay, so let us have first, let us see a video regarding fossil fuels. Okay, what are fossil fuels? Let's play this and let's see or discuss this afterwards. Okay, so let us discuss this fossil fuel. Okay, for a while, let's go back from the start. Okay, what are fossil fuels? Okay, sa remove the audio. Okay, here. So, fossil fuels are natural, non-renewable energy resources like coal, oil, and natural gas. So, non-renewable is natural. Then, this is the combustion. Sinusunog nila. Then, over hundreds of millions of years, so millions of years, 100 millions of years, thousands of years, fossil fuels form from organic matter in geologic deposits below the Earth's surface. So that's underground, Okay, yung mga nilibing, tao, hayop na ilibing. Okay. During the Carboniferous period, decomposing organisms were trapped under rocks and sediments and subjected to pressure and heat. Okay, nandiyan yung mga namatay na hayop, pati tao, yung mga lalaking hayop katulad ng dinosaur. Yan, dahil sa heat pati. Okay, naging naging energy. This resulted in the energy-dense hydrocarbon-filled fossils or fossil fuels that we use today. Ito yung natural gas sa ating gas tube. Okay, which is a non-renewable energy or a fossil also. Fossil fuels can be burned, okay, to produce electricity para maging kuryente, or refined to use as fuel for heating or transportation sa pagluluto at sa transportasyon, like yung train, yung train na ginagamit. Coal ang gamit naman doon sa train. Okay. Lights and for cooking. And however, burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that contributes climate change. Kaso lang, pagkagamit ng fossil fuel, nakakano sa environment, hindi maganda, lalo sa hangin na nagkakaroon ng pollution. Okay, and it turns out to be a factor sa greenhouse climate change, yung greenhouse effect, sasabi. Yan, pollution. Speaking of pollution, cars uses oil, which is another fossil fuel. And alam niyo naman, yung usok nito creates air pollution. As the world's primary energy source, fossil fuels create the majority of human-caused greenhouse gas emission. Pollution na hatid itong fossil fuels na to. Itong kita naman sa mga cars or other vehicles that uses oil. That's it. Okay, so that is yung non-renewable energy, especially fossil fuel, natural, mostly used, kaso lang creates a pollution, air pollution, yung greenhouse effect that contributes to climate change. Okay, so another type of fossil fuel is yung electrochemical batteries. Okay, non-renewable, hindi pala fossil fuel, non-renewable energy. So batteries give electricity via an electrochemical reaction. It has three main parts. So we have the anode, the cathode, and then electrolyte. Okay. The first battery was invented by Alessandro Volta, an Italian physicist. He presented his paper before the Royal Society in London in 1800. His invention of the battery fulfilled studies on electricity at least as it allowed scientists to produce electricity. Batteries, compared to other sources, have low intensity, but they are commonly used since they are portable and efficient. The two types or main types of battery. Number 1, primary or disposable battery. 2, secondary or rechargeable battery. Examples of batteries are alkaline, mercury, silver oxide, and zinc carbon batteries. Example of secondary batteries are lead acid and lithium batteries. Okay, let's search for batteries or to be exact, electrochemical batteries. So that's electrochemical batteries. So let me type electrochemical batteries. Okay. Here. How batteries work. Okay. Electrochemical energy storage of batteries. Lithium battery, chem lang. Okay, so let's just say what are batteries. So wala tayo dito, nakita. Let's try this. Wala makita. Batteries na. How batteries work? I think dito tayo sa how batteries work. Okay, ito na lang tayo. This one.
You probably know the feeling. Your phone utters its final plaintive bleep and cuts out in the middle of your call. In that moment, you may feel more like throwing your battery across the room than singing its praises. But batteries are a triumph of science. They allow smartphones and other technologies to exist without anchoring us to an infernal tangle of power cables. Yet even the best batteries will diminish daily, slowly losing capacity until they finally die. So why does this happen? And how do our batteries even store so much charge in the first place? It all started in the 1780s with two Italian scientists, Luigi Galvani and Alessandro Volta, and a frog. Legend has it that as Galvani was studying a frog's leg, he brushed a metal instrument up against one of its nerves, making the leg muscles jerk. Galvani called this animal electricity, believing that a type of electricity was stored in the very stuff of life. But Volta disagreed, arguing that it was the metal itself that made the leg twitch. The debate was eventually settled with Volta's groundbreaking experiment. He tested his idea with a stack of alternating layers of zinc and copper, separated by paper or cloth soaked in a saltwater solution. What happened in Volta's cell is something chemists now call oxidation and reduction. The zinc oxidizes, which means it loses electrons, which are in turn gained by the ions in the water in a process called reduction, producing hydrogen gas. Volta would have been shocked to learn that last bit. He thought the reaction was happening in the copper, rather than the solution. Nonetheless, we honor Volta's discovery today by naming our standard unit of electric potential the volt. This oxidation-reduction cycle creates a flow of electrons between two substances, and if you hook a light bulb or vacuum cleaner up between the two, you'll give it power. Since the 1700s, scientists have improved on Volta's design. They've replaced the chemical solution with dry cells filled with chemical paste, but the principle is the same. A metal oxidizes, sending electrons to do some work before they are regained by a substance being reduced. But any battery has a finite supply of metal, and once most of it has oxidized, the battery dies. So rechargeable batteries give us a temporary solution to this problem by making the oxidation-reduction process reversible. Electrons can flow back in the opposite direction with the application of electricity. Plugging in a charger draws the electricity from a wall outlet that drives the reaction to regenerate the metal, making more electrons available for oxidation the next time you need them. But even rechargeable batteries don't last forever. Over time, the repetition of this process causes imperfections and irregularities in the metal's surface that prevent it from oxidizing properly. The electrons are no longer available to flow through a circuit, and the battery dies. Some everyday rechargeable batteries will die after only hundreds of discharge-recharge cycles, while newer advanced batteries can survive and function for thousands. Batteries of the future may be light, thin sheets that operate on the principles of quantum physics and last for hundreds of thousands of charge cycles. But until scientists find a way to take advantage of motion to recharge your cell battery, like cars do, or fit solar panels somewhere on your device, plugging your charger into the wall, rather than expending one battery to charge another, is your best bet to forestall that fatal bleep.
Okay, let us discuss this, class. So, hindi pala si Volta lang ang umpisa ng yung sa battery, nag-umpisa pala yung kay Galvani, somewhere, na-discover ni Galvani, napansin ni Galvani, na parang may kuryente yung sa palaka, na may naka-store na kuryente. Okay? Ngayon, kinontes yun ni Volta, that's around 1780s, na hindi yung paan ng palaka yung may kuryente, bagkus yung ginamit na Galvani na panghiwa do sa paan ng palaka, which is yung metal na nag-cause ng kuryente, which is tama naman si Volta, para do sa sinabi ni Galvani na animal electricity. Yan. Okay, tapos ito yung pinupost ni Volta. Ayan, nag-experiment siya, copper and zinc, tas may paper cloth. Okay, tapos pinakita niya yung reduction and oxidation. Okay, yung copper, ito yung zinc, ito yung solution, tas magpo-flow yung electrons until maubos yung zinc, papunta sa copper. So, it is the process of oxidation and reduction. Okay. Ayan. Yung battery. Reduction. Yung electron mula sa zinc papunta sa copper. Okay. And then, pagka naman, yung reverse niya, that is oxidation naman for rechargeable batteries. Okay. So, yun yung info regarding sa battery, which is another non-renewable energy. Okay. Now let's go to the next type of energy, which is renewable energy. Okay. Okay, this one. We have our first type of renewable sources of energy, geothermal. So let me read. Geothermal power. So siguro bago tayo tapusin ko muna basahin nilang Okay. Geothermal power is the main source of energy in the Visayas region. Around 38% of electricity in Visayas is produced from geothermal power. Bakit? Kasi mainit ang lupa sa Visayas, maraming mga volcano, ayan. Maraming spring, famous nga dyan yung Mount Mayon na nasa Bicol, na malapit sa Visayas. Ayan. Geothermal power utilizes the heat energy from the Earth's crust. This heat energy heats up rocks, which in turn heats up nearby groundwater. In some cases, the groundwater becomes so hot that it turns into underground steam. The steam is tapped to drive turbines that generate electricity. Ayan. So, yung steam yung nag-generate ng electricity, coming from hot waters from underground. Ayan. Geothermal energy is less of an environmental hazards compared to fossil fuels, though it still has some emissions of carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and sulfur dioxide. Disposal of water is also a concern, at it contains some salt. Okay, yan yung geothermal energy. Energy coming from steam, okay, from underground, okay, from hot groundwater. Okay. Next, we have hydroelectric. Hydroelectric utilizes moving water to turn turbines. This is the main source of electricity in Mindanao, generating around 45% of electricity in the region. So, bakit sa Mindanao maraming hydroelectricity? Kasi dun matubig, Jensan na lang, alam niyo yung itsura ng Jensan. Maraming tubig, mga bahay nga doon, nasa ibabaw ng tubig, sa Mindanao. Diba, Yan. Alam niyo yung Binta, parang bangka sa Mindanao, Yan. Tapos, nagiging energy to because of the moving water that turns the turbines to generate electricity. Ayan. So yung turbine yung nag-generate ng electricity. So ang tanong, ano yung mag-move sa turbine? Continuous movement. So here we have hydrogen o yung tubig o hydroelectric. Yung isa naman yung steam yung nagpapamove. Yung init yung usok. Okay, next we have wind power. Wind has been used in centuries to move ships and pump water. Wind turbines are installed in strategic locations to harness the mechanical energy from wind. Main examples of wind turbines in the Philippines are the ones found in San Lorenzo, Guimaras, Bangi Bay, another one, Ilocos Norte, Burgos, Ilocos Norte, sa EDC Wind Power Corporation, at saka dito sa atin sa Rizal, sa Pililla, meron din. So, para umikot yung turbine, hangin naman ang ginagamit dito sa wind power. Next, we have solar cells. We will have access to solar power as long as the sun exists. Solar panels are composed of photovoltaic cells or cells that convert light to energy. Panels are comprised of two semiconducting metals, usually silicon, layered to create a sandwich. Each sheet is doped so that they can anyway, solar energy is also known as the people's power, referring to the easy deployment solar panels and the introduction of community solar gardens where energy is shared among owners. Some disadvantages of solar energy are that it is expensive, requires rare metals, and requires a good amount of space. Thankfully, the technology is continuously improving. So, ito naman yung energy coming from the sun. So, same principle para sa fossil fuel, stored sunlight, and nga lang, ang problema sa solar energy o solar panels, they are very expensive, kaya bira lang ang meron ito, kamalit sa kuryente, like kasi sa Meralco. Yung mga may kaya lang, mayayaman na ang produce ito, nakaka-afford. Next, we go to biomass. Biomass refers to organic matter from plants and animals or microorganisms. Plants get their energy from the sun through the process of photosynthesis, which in turn gives energy to animals upon consumption. Waste such as scrap remains, manure, and garbage are good sources of biomass. Wood is also biomass fuel. As long as we replace the trees that we cut, biomass can be a sustainable energy source. Biomass is used to create methane and alcohol, which are fuels in energy production and in powering automobiles. Production of biogas or biofuels involves the action of microorganisms that break down organic matter in a multiple step process. Technologies utilizing biomass are continuously evolving in order to improve efficiency. Sa biomass naman, ito yung energy coming from the organic matter of plants and animals. Ayan. Baga sinusunog din ito, para maging energy. So, I have here a video regarding sa renewable energy. So, let's play this and then afterwards discuss natin.
Energy use is on the rise, and these alternative energy sources could hold the key to combating climate change. What is renewable energy? Renewable energy is generated from sources that naturally replenish themselves and never run out. The most common sources are solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, and biomass. Over 80% of the total energy consumed by humans is derived from fossil fuels. However, renewables are the fastest growing source of energy in the world. Renewable energy has many benefits. First, it can combat climate change because it creates no direct greenhouse gas emissions. The only emissions that they produce are indirect, meaning those that result from manufacturing parts, installation, operation, and maintenance. But even those are minimal. Second, renewable energy can decrease pollution and therefore reduce threats to our health. Wind, solar, and hydroelectric systems create no air pollution emissions, and geothermal and biomass energy systems emissions are much lower than non-renewable energy sources. Third, renewable energy is a reliable source of power. Because renewable energy sources are, well, renewable, they will never run out. Once built, renewable facilities cost very little to operate, and the fuel is often free. As a result, renewable energy prices tend to be stable over time. While renewable energy has many advantages, it is not without downsides. It is difficult for renewable energy sources to generate power on the same large scale as fossil fuels. Building wind farms and dams can disrupt wildlife and migration patterns and lead to ecological destruction. Both solar and wind energy are intermittent. They only generate power while the sun is shining or while the wind is blowing. Batteries can store excess energy for later use. However, they are often costly. While renewable energy presents some challenges, it also offers an environmentally friendly alternative to the greenhouse gas emissions and pollution of fossil fuels. And as advances in technology make renewable energy more accessible, affordable, and efficient, an end to climate change could be within our reach.
Yun yun, ano? So sabi, yung sa renewable energy, which is yung wind, yung water, and ito. So renewable, yan yung sa sunlight, okay, yung sa sun, and yung water,
Geothermal and
yung sa biomass, yan. Yan yung mga renewable, ano. Then 10% lang ang gumagamit ng renewable. So we have wood, bio, so we have hydro, ito, income. We have solar, this one, solar panels. Okay, we have yung wind, ano, yan. Okay, solar. Hindi ko nakita rito yung sa biomass, ano, yung sinusunog na mga ng mga organisms. That is non-renewable. At sinasabi rito, yung renewable is, ayan, sa dam, is friendly sa environment, no? Hindi siya, wala siyang pollution, ano. So, nakatulong siya sa climate change. Reliable kasi nandyan lang, pwedeng ma-renew. Okay, yung apat na yan na renewable energy. Cost efficient, mas mababa ang, kumbaga sa kuryente, mas mababa, mas stable ang presyo ng kuryente. Okay, unlike sa non-renewable. Okay, ang problema lang, may disadvantages din ng renewable. Okay, ang non-renewable, kaya niya mag-generate ng power na malaki. Kaso lang itong renewable maliit lang. Yung paggawa pati ng mga machine para sa renewable na nakasira sa environment, yung dam, yung sa wind, yung windmill, yung sa paligid nila nakaka-apekto. And yung renewable pwedeng matigil pansamantala, katulad sa solar pag wala yung araw, katulad sa wind pag walang hangin. Okay, pero may solusyon. Pwede naman gumamit ng battery, ano? Pagka nandiyan yung araw at hangin, yung energy pwedeng store sa battery, kasi lang mahal ang battery, pero continuous naman pagka may battery. Ayun yung mga negative sa sa renewable energy. Intermittent saka sa paligid ng nakasira ng environment. But hindi siya nakaka-cause ng air pollution, like sa non-renewable. So it helps our earth. Okay, so that's renewable energy. I think that's all for now for our topic. I hope may intindihan niyo po yung ating topic, sources of energy. We have non-renewable and renewable energy. Non-renewable, we have yung fossil fuel saka yung battery. Fossil fuel, we have oil, yung natural gas, okay, and then coal. Battery, we have yung disposable at rechargeable battery. Then we have renewable energy, we have yung wind, we have yung hydro, we have yung geothermal, at saka yung biomass. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you. Okay, and we'll be having another topic next time. Thanks.